keep going back and forth on what controller I want because, like I said,
The me that if I was a console gamer, I want this scuff type control. It doesn't have to be a scuff, but I can't get myself to comprehend spending
no,
150 on a controller.
no, no way.
That's like
And it's
crazy.
like you said because I mean, what games would you ever need like those bumpers and stuff? No, nothing. There's no game you
It,
play on with a controller that would need the bumpers in the back.
no, it would just be the games that I play on PC that it would
Right.
be helpful with. Yeah.
Like fighting games, you're not doing that. And like I said, I tried going the route of a fighting stick and learning that, but I'm like, you know what? Too much of a learning curve when you've used a controller your whole life. So I'm like, all right, I'll give up on that dream. And then you have I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go and look up to see if people like, because it used to be like the Xbox 360 controller was really bad for fighting games because the D-pad was like squishy, so it just wasn't good. But maybe the new Xbox controllers are better. I don't know.
Yeah, the back grip is rubberized, which just felt really
Right.
nice. I don't know, like
I
overall
just like it
better,
because
but
again, for a PC, it's just that's what it's meant
the
for.
Bluetooth connectivity makes it a lot easier.
Right. Like it's annoying on my PS4 controller when I use it on my computer and then it shows Xbox buttons sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah.
it will show PlayStation, but it's all up to the game and if the developers have it right. So most games though don't. And so it's not the end of the world. It still works perfectly fine, but it's like and the only thing that trips me up is X because the PlayStation has an X button. It's just different, you know? I've even thought about just getting custom PlayStation buttons and having it say like put instead of triangle, so I'll replace the buttons on the controller to where it says YBAX. So
It's like at
just
least it makes it
so visually I'm
yeah.
understanding what I'm looking at and then I can just tell all the games to use an Xbox configuration, but that seems like more work than just buying an Xbox controller and getting used to
Just
that.
just connecting and going.
Should just probably get used to an Xbox controller. I wonder are the new Xbox controllers good for fighting games? Okay, people are saying the new Series XS. That's what is the new Xbox called?
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, this was posted June 6th. They're saying is going to be the new standard of controllers. Okay. We're in business then.
Wait, what does it say?
That they're good for fighting games, which is essentially
Oh.
just saying that the D-pad is comfortable. Because like I said before, it was like the way the PlayStation controller works is the buttons are separate, so you get a little click. Not really a click, but
Oh, I know
it's
what you mean. They're not all like connected as one big piece.
right. So on the old Xbox 360 controller, it's one big piece and it has like a pad on it, so it feels spongy. Like it constantly
So the
read
new
the.
Xbox controller,
They're saying
the D-pad's still all one though on there, but I guess it
it
just
looks
clicks
like
different.
one, but I think underneath is probably single. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looks like one, but I bet you underneath it's not. So I could just go get a fighting stick again too, but
That seems like even more of a pain.
I know it really is. But you just look so cool when you're good with it. You know, I feel like that's half the battle. Xbox Series controller, which is better. All right, yeah, I'll have to look it up. All right, all right. Not like it would affect my skill level at all, but mentally, I just I don't need that in my head. Because if there's one community that are snobs about their controllers, it's FGC. Let me tell you, they are snobs. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Welcome to episode 350 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Alt. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have Yikes of the Week. Wonder what's going to happen there, as well as the VCT update officially this time, as we have NA qualifiers, Japan, EU's about midway through. We'll know them, I think, by next week. But we'll discuss all that and keep you guys up to date, as well as a packed e-news to unravel at the end of the show. But before we get to any of it, I need to tell you in the show's sponsor, which is Alt Esports. I've told you once, and I've told you 1,000 times, and I'll tell you 2,000 times. They are the most comfortable, well-priced apparel that esports has to offer. They're partnered with yours truly, so that right there is like number one, right? But they're also partnered with the Overwatch League, Call of Duty League, Sentinels, number one Valorant team in the world. You can go pick up their jerseys, the jackets that you saw the players walk out of in the last major. You can actually go and pick those up, wear what the players wear. So even if you're not as good as them, you can at least look good as them, which is half the battle, really. So go to altesports.com, pick yourself that up, tell them that the Center Ring sent you.
Hey, this is Blue, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back. Welcome to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Alt. This is episode 350, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date is August 15th, 2021. The time, 9:11 p.m. Central Time. Never forget. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at the Center Ring, and join our Discord. The link is in the description there, as well as a link to Patreon if you want to support the show that way. That'd be cool. If not, love you all the same. Not a big deal. My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
Hearing that liner started reminding me of the Blue interview. Do you remember what happened in that interview?
I remember it was a mess. I remember, so there was, is that the one where I forgot to hit record midway through?
Yeah, about like 3/4 of the way through. We were at the last talking point of the interview, and we were like,
It was a mess. Look, I like Blue. Blue, for those who don't know, this man here.
Hey, this is Blue, and you're listening to TCR.
That's Blue. He is a caster, started in Counter-Strike. I haven't seen him in Counter-Strike in years. He is now full-time with Rainbow Six Siege and most recently at VCT playoffs. Yeah. By the way,
it kind of thrived in Valorant, or not Valorant, Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I mean, he was like one of the league's main casters, right? So obviously I have not heard from him in a while because although I was a semi-pro in Vegas, Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2, don't watch Siege very often and or play it. So don't get to see Blue very often. He has grown. We're not talking VCT right now, but this is just a shout out to Blue because obviously he listens. He has grown immensely in his casting game. I thoroughly enjoyed him for VCT playoffs.
No, he's definitely done a good job there. I mean, like I said, even with Siege, done an incredible job over there. I mean, kind of elevated his game to another level. And so it's good to see him spanning out. And, Valorant's probably fairly comfortable for him just with his CS background. It's not going to be.
I like it. He lets the game come to him, as we said last time. Some of these young bucks in the casting game, you can tell are cut from the same cloth of Courage or Maven or the Call of Duty crowd that just decides, you know what if I just yell all the time? That's what
like a hype cat. It's more of like hype or shout casting, like hype casting.
They take the shout part of shout casting literal and just shout the entire time. Blue lets the game come to him. He acts like he's been there before. That's what I appreciate. Joe Buck doesn't flip the table every time a home run happens. He's seen it before. We've all seen it before. We understand that. Now, there's parts that warrant being going nuts, but
let's save it for those parts.
let's save it for the finals, not round 1 of a qualifier. Just, let's let the hype level match the intensity of the match here, folks. But no, just shout out to Blue. Really appreciate him casting VCT, and I forget his partner's name, but they're both really good with each other. So I appreciated it. I even DM'd him saying, "Yo, I appreciate you, and thank you." Never answered back, but
too big now.
Yeah, he's probably like, "You're the fucking idiot that didn't hit record halfway through my interview." That was a messed up interview, though, to begin with, because first off, it was like the 3rd time we tried doing an interview with him. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He kept like, "Oh, I can't do it today. I'm so sorry. What about next time?" So we would get him next time. And then even this time, he was like, "Hey, I'm like driving in a car right now. Do you want to do it later?" And we were like, "No, bro. No."
We've like pushed this too many times.
Like, I love you, but at the end of the day, you're Blue the caster. Like, I just really wanted to get this out of the way, and now this is turning into like a 4-night event. So I just want to get this over with, and go figure, forgot to hit record, which, you know what? Any podcaster out there, any content creator that deals in the live environment, I'm not alone in that.
Not at all.
You ask anyone that's made content that you have to hit record for, and they will all tell you, like, yeah, we've been there.
That wasn't our first time.
No, definitely not the last time either. It happens.
No.
Happens. Not often, but it happens enough. That's for sure. But that's the business, as they say. Speaking of the business, it is Sunday night at the time of this recording. And that can only mean one thing, and that is that it is time for Yikes of the Week, as we get into our weekly discussion of moments that made you go yikes, whether it be in esports, gaming, whatever. Typically always about esports, though, because lo and behold, there's always enough. I remember when we first started doing Yikes of the Week, I was like, you know what? Try to do esports, but if it's just anything in life, just bring it up. It's fine, and then we won't always have something. No. We always have.
Every week we have something.
We always have something. I love it.
We're renaming this segment it's actually a show sponsor. It's going to be Blizzard Yikes of the Week for the next few weeks, but we'll eventually move on to that.
If things keep up, they'll actually take us as a sponsor because they'll need us. But it is the Blizzard Yikes of the Week, Anuj, as we have had more news coming from the Activision Blizzard side. Let's not let Activision get away with this. It is the Activision Blizzard side of things with their sexual assault. Is it assault or harassment or both?
From I guess some of the stories, it could be both.
Okay.
Definitely harassment.
Well, yeah, definitely harassment.
I don't know. I don't know the case.
I don't need to split hairs here. Is this like a Me Too level type of stuff, or is this like a you just need to be fired type of stuff? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to split hairs. Like, sexual assault is assault, but I'm a reporter. I'm a newsman. I want to get it right. Either way, the bad stuff that Blizzard did, right, between their employees. We have more backlash coming from this side here. More people have been let go. The Diablo 4 game director, Louis Barriga, that's how I'm going to say that name. Lead designer, Jesse McCree, might sound familiar. And World of Warcraft designer Jonathan LaCraft were all let go from Blizzard.
Yeah, and it's funny because like this might not be the worst thing. Okay, outside of they needed to be fired. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I don't think we have to talk about that. Yes,
nope, but it is Positivity Month, so give me something positive.
The positive here is how many of y'all out there really love Diablo 3? You know what I'm saying? Like, did you love the Reaper of Souls expansion? Like, did you really love Diablo 3 and what it's given you over the last, 6+ years? Or could a change of the guard for any of these games, right, for Diablo 4, World of Warcraft, Jesse McCree with Overwatch, like, having some of these guys replaced, it doesn't mean they're bringing in somebody worse, right? Like, that's not a guarantee. They could be, but it doesn't mean that
right.
This person is going to be worse. And so I'm going to take the positive side here and say, I didn't really love any of those. I thought Diablo 3 was it was good for what it was for a period of time, and they found a way to make absolutely no new content for it for 6 years, from my perspective.
Well,
World of
bro,
Warcraft,
they do seasons. What are you talking about?
they have done 26 of those. You are right. They have done 26 of those. And same thing with World of Warcraft. Like as a designer, depending on I don't know what he's involved with, but what I'm saying is sometimes changing the old guard isn't the worst thing because these games have been games that we have notoriously complained about on this show, and other channels out there have done the same. It might not be the worst thing. That could be the positive side. It could be good for us.
Now, the other side effect to this is Jesse McCree.
Why does that name sound familiar,
That
Tim?
might sound familiar to some of you because it is actually who McCree from Overwatch was named after, which, hands up, let's see a show of hands who knew that.
No idea.
I had no clue. I had not a clue that he was named after someone who worked at Blizzard. And McCree was my boy. Like, that was like my go-to quick pick. Regardless of the meta, I was that guy that you yelled at for picking McCree when DPS sucked, and I was like, guess what? Don't care.
And at the start of the game, he was like very OP strong.
Oh, God, yeah. That's when I was one game away from hitting Master.
Which makes sense knowing that a developer's name was tied to it. Of course, they were going to make him like.
He was like, guys, why don't we bump his damage up a little bit?
Yeah, let's get the
why don't we
numbers
get
up a
that
little
fan
more.
the hammer like a one shot on tanks? Okay, can we get that going here just for a little bit? No, so now the discussion is, do we have to change McCree's name? Because we've seen it happen in World of Warcraft where they're getting rid of people that have been associated with sexual assault or harassment. The casters for Overwatch League have quietly started referring to McCree as the cowboy. So they're already kind of filtering it out as an act of rebellion, right? Saying, hey, this dude was caught up in this. We're not going to say it to honor him. So the question is, do we have to change his name? I will say positive twist on this. For those of us who had no clue that it was named after a guy, I don't really care. Like, I didn't know it was his name. First off, Positivity Month, sexual assault aside, Jesse McCree is a badass cowboy name.
It does sound good for a cowboy
Like
name,
that,
doesn't it?
that is destined to be a cowboy.
I'm honestly right there with you. I don't really care if they change it or not. Like most people, I would say 95+% of the fan base probably did not know this character was named after him. Now we do, right?
Now
and
I do,
I get
sure.
that. So, but now we can just say, well, we no longer associate the name with him. Like it's no longer in homage to this guy that used to work here. Like it's just, I don't really care. Like I don't feel. Oh, I just still have like
I
some
guess,
certain like
I felt like the
uplifting movement here.
character was bigger than the developer, right? Like, whereas opposed to in World of Warcraft, these guys that were named after him were like not part. It wasn't like Thrall was named after someone in Blizzard, right? They put in little homages to him, like, oh, this vendor seller, right, is going to be named this person.
Really different. It was like
Yeah.
a random ass
This
NPC.
dude, McCree, the character, I felt like is bigger than McCree, the person. So
100%.
don't think it's as necessary, but don't let me.
If they
be the
changed
judge.
it, I wouldn't care because
I don't
we're
care.
not playing, so it
just-
doesn't matter.
Either
But,
way-
like I just don't think like I'm just trying to think bigger picture.
Right.
You're right. Like that character is much bigger than the developer, and most people already didn't know it. So
I guess you're right, though. Like, do I think they need to change McCree's name in Overwatch now? The answer is no. Do I care enough to argue this if you feel the other way? No. Change his
I
name.
thought the Redskins should change their name. Like
Yeah.
that came across as a little racist to me.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
one made sense.
Like this is like just not. I'm not as passionate about.
But if you
I
wanted to
just don't
call
care.
him like James McGee instead of Jesse McCree, go for it. Because I also don't care.
Yeah.
So this is
I just don't think it's necessary
No.
that they have to change it. I guess
No.
is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like they have to change it, but if they did, that's also fine.
that works. We also have had some sponsors, more sponsors, leave the world of the Call of Duty League side now. So last time,
Getting a little serious here, Tim.
yeah, because before, you know what, Coca-Cola, State Farm, big companies, big sponsors, sure. But from what I always heard through the grapevine is that they weren't huge dollar amounts for sponsors, right? Like it was very more of a business relationship type of sponsor, right? For like almost like, hey, let's be buddies with them now, so then when we do hit it big and everything, they'll be involved, right?
Yeah.
Like getting involved with stadium deals and things like that. But now we're seeing big boys. So on the CDL side, you had T-Mobile drop out, of course. U.S. Army has dropped out. And the big one here, and even though so let me say this before I say the big one, U.S. Army is also big because U.S. Army is involved with Call of Duty, the game itself. Like they do those endowment packages where it's like you can buy it and it donates to the military and things like that. So I think that does speak volume that someone that you donate money to is also saying like, yeah, but
Let's be real, the U.S. military has the biggest budget out of all of these guys.
right. True. But also the biggest sponsor I think that really sends a message on how the companies are taking this. Astro Gaming, the headset company, has pulled their sponsorship deal with the CDL. They have been involved with professional Call of Duty since the MLG days. Like
as long as we can remember.
I mean, seriously, I remember it was always the pros were wearing Astros. And even I would say before they even had an official deal with MLG, it was like that's what you saw the big dogs have were Astro Gaming headsets. And like you were like, whoa, like that's how you know you took it serious if you had Astro headsets back in the day. And now they've just become a standard, especially in the console gaming world. Like especially on the COD side, it's like SCUF controllers, right? If you're going to play serious, that's what you have. And for them to drop off, for them to break that relationship up, that to me, first off, good on Astro. But second off, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's good on these guys for obviously taking a stance and removing yourself from the situation that Blizzard Activision has put these guys in. I am sad for the league, however.
Of course.
Because I think this has been the one bright spot for Blizzard Activision, has been the CDL, and even not that big of a bright spot, right? Like, they've just done a good job of managing the league through a lot of also bad decisions. Like, again, not talking about the Adderall situation and not even bringing that up still to this day. Like, they really haven't addressed it. Like, the league has been flawed in several areas. But CDL, to me, has still been a bright spot overall out of everything else that Blizzard Activision has going on. And to lose these three sponsors, and you're right, the Astro Gaming one, it just hits different. Like it really, you feel like, oh man, this could kind of keep trickling down the line if Astro is willing to step out, because this is a big sponsorship for them as well. Like being the premier headset for Call of Duty is like really big for Astro, more so than Call of Duty. Like CDL can go out there and, you know, if they didn't have all this crap lingering over them,
Turtle Beach,
they could go to
whoever.
Logitech, they could go to Razer, they could go to Turtle Beach, whoever they wanted to, and cut a deal. So this was like big for Astro, and for Astro to step away, I think really kind of hits home here. And you feel like that this is probably going to come up again. Like we're probably going to have a couple other names added to this list before it's all said and done, which it becomes devastating, even if not all of them are big dollar sponsors. Like these were huge buy-ins. People are recouping money this way. This is how they make most of their money in an online era, is through these sponsorships. So it definitely hits a little different now.
And again,
you know, seeing that they're willing to go.
Not to say I feel bad for Activision Blizzard throughout all this, because hey, the people should get what's coming to them who did something wrong, right? But there is like that little part of me, Anuj, that is just sad for just to see where it's come, right? Because there are still good people that work there, and this is where it's going to hurt them as well, because the league's losing money now. Who knows if they have to lay off anyone as a, you know, dominoes effect. This is where it can get messy.
People will be affected by this. I mean, no doubt. Like that's 100% going to happen, because I don't know where else the revenue is coming from for the league in over the past year and a half. So
charging teams $25 million.
This is probably why CDL was like, no, it doesn't matter. We're definitely doing a LAN with fans in the middle of the second part of the pandemic.
We
Like,
need
we
those
need
seats.
that money. We will do this. Don't even worry about bringing the test. Just let us know yes or no if you took
We
it.
need those seats. Sell them
Yeah, like,
tickets.
I mean, it's a bad situation. It's only going to get worse. And unfortunately, this is maybe what it takes for a company like that to get its shit together. Like, it has to go to rock bottom before they can, hopefully rebuild themselves back up. But um,
I mean, let's
it
be
just feels
real.
like this is where it was headed. Like, it's just been a train wreck for everybody except the shareholders when it comes to Blizzard Activision.
The new Call of Duty will come out. The league will start up again. 90% of the people will forget about this. Half the sponsors will be back and we'll move on in life. That's going to be
I don't know if they'll get other sponsors. I don't see any of I don't see Astro all of a sudden
well,
coming
I don't
back
see
into the
Coca-Cola or
fray.
them coming back because they were probably never even. They probably wasn't worth it for them to begin with, but we'll see. We'll see. That's just the latest in the Activision Blizzard yikes of the week, and I have one more late edition yikes for you, Anuj. And this is not technically esports related. It is Twitch related. Twitch streamer. I don't know how to say her name. Amaranth. Amaranth. Is that how you say her name?
Sure, I don't know who it is, but
I could ask Brett. I'm sure he's a sub to her. Anyways, she is the.
sub or a simp.
Is there a difference when it comes to titty streamers? She is. Close your eyes for a second. Just do this exercise with me. Close your eyes, and you think of the most generic billboard material of a titty streamer. This is who you get. She is the hot tub girl, hot tub streams, give me $10, I'll write your name on my forehead type girl, the, hey, I'm going to paint a picture while wearing short shorts and keep turning around type of streamer. You name it, she's done it all. You want to do
ASMR?
Oh my God, ASMR, and I'm going to lick the microphone. She does it all. She does it all. No shame in that. Whatever you got to do, I suppose. Anuj, listen, we make fun of titty streamers on this show because that's just how it works, and that's fine. But there is a line here. That line is trying to set her house on fire, as someone tried to do.
What?
She said,
legit tried to set her house on fire.
Someone tried to set the side of her house on fire. Now I don't know if it was tied to a viewer. I gotta think it is, because again, she was also one of those.
Too random not to be.
The other time I've seen her pop up in news, other than being banned and stuff, obviously, which is just the life of a titty streamer. You walk that line, right? Is somehow it got out that she was married, and half of her subs unsubbed out of protest because they just thought it was a complete mistrust, because she's always told people she was single.
They all thought.
Because they all just thought, damn.
There goes my only shot.
I really thought I was going to get you with that $200 donation. Damn. So, no, bottom line, folks, is titty streamers are people too. And let's not light their houses on fire. That's it.
Yeah, that's a no-go. You can take your shots. That's not one of them. You don't do that shit.
Right. Keep it to memes and chat. How about that? Positive twist, though, is she probably got some fat donation from some sugar daddy, some sugar simp on her Twitch for distress.
Time to have to pay for security now.
No joke, bro. If I was a titty streamer, I would have a moat around my house, because the way people can find information out online now about you.
Yeah.
If they find out one personal information, they can probably get your address. I would have a moat with great white sharks in it. I would never feed them, so they're always hungry. Laser cannons, everything. There would be no chance. But there's that for you. All right, so there is some yikes of the week. Let's get into some more of an esport discussion here, as we had VCT wrap up for some areas, not all, but some, over this weekend. So first, I guess, let's discuss NA,
So we can even just maybe
or
even
just in
before
general.
talking NA, we could just say what one kind of general statement I'll make because we don't need to talk about the other regions really yet. We'll do that when it's all finalized and we do our kind of our preview show for Berlin.
Uh-huh.
But we are getting the best teams from these regions so far advancing. And that's one thing I noticed this time versus last time, right? Like Zeta division out of Japan. That was the old Absolute Jupiter lineup. They're under a different org now. But we have them in, right? Crazy Raccoon, the second best team in Japan, also made it through. And I think that's like huge to start getting, NA as we'll get into here in a minute. We got the three teams that we think are the best three teams to represent our region in. Not to say version 1 wasn't last time, but they weren't at that time. Although they represented well, they were not the
Yeah,
second best like NA
and
team.
anyone who tells you anything else on that is lying to you. Don't
Yeah,
get me
like
wrong.
at the time, like they've proven
I'm a
that they're one
version
of the
1
best
fan.
teams, but
I support version 1. I want to see them succeed. But we even said it on this show. Like, everyone was expecting an early round bounce from them, and when they ended up defeating, I think it was Fnatic, right, at some point in the event, like that we said it then. Like that was their finals. They beat an EU team. That's all we wanted from them.
yeah. They did their job. They did what they needed to do in that situation.
Yeah, they were not a second favorite going into from NA on that one.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of at least what I've taken away so far is we have our best teams that are still in positions in other regions as well, including I say the EU region. The EU region's kind of messed up because again it's EU, Turkey, CIS, and everybody. But
EMEA
even
region.
there, we have Ascend still playing. We have G2 still competing. We have Liquid, who's fallen into lower brackets, still going. We have Guild Esports still in contention. So we have a lot of these top teams still vying for those final 4 spots. And I think that's huge based on how this wraps up. I'm going to be really, this can either be really, really exciting or this will still be a hell of an event, but we'd be missing once again, we'd be missing some of the best teams in the world. So
some people might argue
for a really, really good Berlin event right now.
And some people might argue on the EU side because Fnatic didn't even get this far to qualifying because they blew it before that. They're not even here. Which brings me to my next general discussion of VCT before we get into the NA side of things. I am seeing a lot on Twitter saying that, NA should get, 4 teams, and there needs to be a Turkey division and a CIS division, and EU should have their own, and blah blah blah. Look, I don't hate the way it is right now. I don't love it. Like we always discuss. I think there's always things you can do to improve formats of tournaments and things like that. But my issue is, to your point, what you were just saying, is I feel like we are getting the best teams qualifying at this moment in time. You can't just constantly be like, well, NA has a better team, so they need to have more people. I don't like that train of thought because
we already have more people.
Right. Like, if you were the best team, then qualify in your own region then. Like,
so
that's
my
the
take
whole
on this
point.
region thing, Tim, is like, it is okay the way it is right now. NA having 3, I think, is perfectly fine, and it needs to stay there. We don't need a 4th team from NA. If you can't get top 3, you probably shouldn't be there anyway. So I think 3 is fine for NA. I do like the idea of them breaking up EU a little bit more. EU should have like 2 slots. Turkey should have 1. CIS should have 1, and that gives them their total of 4 still from that area. But EU doesn't deserve more than NA does. Honestly, they don't deserve the same amount right now until they,
if you want my perfect opinion, is I just think regardless, so split up EU. Okay, so you can have Turkey, CIS, all of them in their own thing, and then EU being EU. And then just take from every division, NA, Japan, Korea, Brazil, Latin America, all of them, and just take the top 2 and send them to the Masters. Like, we are taking the 2 best teams from your region and we're sending them to Championship Island. And
I don't like think if Counter-Strike did that. Like, if Counter-Strike did that, you would be in an uproar for the major. If they were like, we're taking 4 EU teams, 4 NA teams, 4 Chinese teams, 4 Latin America teams, like you would in 4 CIS, not like right now CIS having 4 doesn't make it, doesn't sound too far fetched, but like in
Right? No, they could
general,
do it.
it does need to be balanced for a population, like the number of teams that are naturally
Right.
going to
And
be
I get
playing.
why they do it because that's also viewership, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously the more NA
I think
teams, the better
regions should
viewers.
have their own representation, though. So I agree with you there. I do feel each region should be represented with at least their top team, but it shouldn't be balanced, in my
But see,
opinion,
and that's the
across
only
the board.
reason though. It's like I don't. So for me, I'm the kind of the opposite then, because the way they have it now with EU, I'm fine with. People saying that Turkey and CIS.
But I think that's us as Americans saying that. That's
Yeah,
easy
I
for
mean,
us to
sure,
do.
it's
Like
yeah.
Turkey has a lot of teams that are competing in Valorant right now, and so does CIS. Like they have in large guilds too, right? It's not guilds,
Whoa.
orgs.
Well,
Wow,
how old are
too
you?
much, too much Valorant in my mind, or too much WoW in my mind. Large orgs, competing in these regions, so it would make sense to allow them to have representation from those regions. I mean, it's very rare that you see all those grouped together as one. That's why this name of EMA, whatever the hell they even call it,
EME
for
is how I say it. EMEA is what it is. I don't know
like
what it
nobody
stands
even knows
for.
what that is because it's just not done that way in games. It's kind of weird to do it like that.
Yeah, I couldn't gun to my head right now. I'd just tell you to pull the trigger because I couldn't even guess what it means.
The first time I didn't even know that was what that was on the side. I thought that was like some small ass region with like the Philippines and like Malaysia and all these
Some
places like
place you
tied
just
to
have
it.
no idea. So like I said, there's probably a billion different ways you can do it, and there's always going to be someone upset about it. But I don't hate the way it is now. I think this is how you're
It's
going to
not
get the best
terrible
teams
right now at all.
Yeah. If for the sake of conversation, we're just going to call them EU, they're getting 4 spots because they have 3 regions in it. I think that's fair. If out of 4 spots, if a Turkey and a CIS team is the better of those, they should be able to get in. If they don't get in and they're 5th in that region, well, then I'm sorry. You don't just to say like, well, if Turkey had their own, we had 2 spots and I would have qualified. Bro, if anything, I like the fact that it's all, because I feel like this is how you really get the better teams involved. Like if NA could somehow be mixed in with, Latin America somehow, or server wise, however that would work, more the merrier in qualifiers, right? And then that way you get more competition, but whatever. Some people are just going to tweet stuff so they can get more likes on Twitter because they just want to agree with everyone, but that's my 2 cents. Figure out who I'm talking about there. Have fun with that. Anyways, getting into the NA side of VCT playoffs, because we do, in my opinion, and I think yours too, as you just said, these are the 3 best teams that NA has to offer right now. Sentinels, 100 Thieves, and Envy. All have qualified from the NA side.
3 most consistent teams throughout the year. Your First Strike winners in 100 Thieves, Sentinels, your everything else winner, and Envy, your second place runner up in 90% of the events they've attended, it feels like, right? So it definitely is the 3 best teams. I know this is the 3 that you picked. And in all honesty, this is the 3, like these are the 3 best teams. I realize that I picked TSM over Envy purely because Ye being a new addition, I didn't know he was going to come out, excuse me, and be the best player on that team. So these are the 3 best. I'm happy with how we ended up here. I don't care what order they were in. I really lost interest once I knew who the 3 teams were.
Yeah.
So seeing the finals and all that today wasn't on my priority list because I knew who was going through. They accomplished what they needed to accomplish, so that's all I needed to see.
Yeah. I think I even told you that the other night, where it was like, now that I know the 3 teams, I really I'm not going to bust my ass trying to watch these things because,
especially it's BO5 in the final. Like I don't care that much.
Yeah. I'll
It's
catch the
just
highlights. I had it on the background on mute. I'll keep an eye on the score, but this is a qualifier and all I cared about who qualified. So, prize money is nice and all for the teams, but for fans, it's whatever. We knew who qualified. Let's say this though. The return on investment for Ye at the moment, now this could all blow up and be miserable in Berlin, but his join date, according to Liquipedia, Nuge, August 5th. It has been he has been on Envy now for 10 days, and he has carried that team into Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, really has fit in very nicely, and that's even an understatement. It is kind of incredible to me that it's been as flawless as it is. Maybe that's the benefit that we've always talked about of having, somebody like FNS on the team where you don't question the leadership. You just kind of play your role and do your thing.
Right. They don't have
Um,
time to overthink it, right? They had 10 days and even less because of when their matches were. He's on the
and
roster for like a week.
like even Marved is really new to that roster still, replacing Caboose, which was just, a month or two
I think it
ago. It
was the
wasn't like that
end
long
of
ago.
June, so early July.
Yeah, so we're looking at like a month and a half where they've been competing, so they don't have every like practice day available. Now you're adding in another player, and like I said, he freaking carried, dude. And he played, he was playing Jet really well. He played Reyna really well. I mean, he did exactly what you would want him to do and what they probably expected him to do. Maybe I should have had the same faith that they did, but yeah, they looked really good. I think the only negative for Envy, I say negative, is they felt a little bit of pressure. They lost that 100 Thieves match. I'm sure they would have loved to have won it, even though they know they had advanced. Those are just nice games going into your last event before Berlin to like kind of feel that loss. And obviously losing 2-0 to Sentinels and Upper. So like the other two teams that you're going with, you lost to both of them. Now granted, the Sentinels match, I know you and I both watched, was just absolutely crazy with both 13-11 finishes there, and both really came down to the wire. But still, they fell short, and that's kind of been their MO. Unfortunately, is like they get to the end, to the finish line. They can see the finish line, but closing out these matches have been a problem. And so they get a little bit of a pass here. Playing against those teams with the new addition is tough, but they need to get that figured out quickly and figure out a way just to get over the hump because it's not going to get any easier once you get to Berlin. Every game is going to be a very difficult game.
And speaking of getting over the hump, that's the getting into 100 Thieves, because that's Nitro himself said. Like, he feels this. Did you see this? What I saw this, I think it was like in an article I saw on Twitter.
I did not.
Nitro said mentally they have to just get over the hump and tell themselves that they can beat Sentinels. Get this. He said, because they remind me of what happened to us on Liquid with Astralis, where we mentally were already telling ourselves that we are already like losing before the game even starts.
Which is like
Comparing,
gotta be
imagine
so what a mind f for the guys on 100 Thieves to feel this way about the players that are sitting across from them on Sentinels, because those are players that weren't in their realm in their previous esport. I say not in the realm. Definitely a difference though.
oh my,
in
there
in
wasn't
careers.
there wasn't a day in Counter-Strike where Nitro thought of that way to any of these guys in Counter-Strike. Not
No, yeah, I mean
for
you're absolutely
a
right.
second would he compare Shazam, Zoms, Dapper, Tens, yes, even Tens in Counter-Strike. Not for a second would he be like, yeah, I put them on the same level as Astralis. Not a chance would he say that.
It is funny to see that quote, but it is so damn true. They are the Astralis of this game. Now, that's still a little bit of a stretch because Astralis did this over
They
like
had a
a freaking three and
dynasty.
a half. And
Sentinels
yeah,
doesn't
like
have
they
a
had a true
dynasty.
dynasty, and we've yet to have a real major in this game. But they are on path to be a dynasty type. They're going to be a team that's been the best team for over a year. And that's
Yeah.
starting to become like a long time. And there's no clear competitor to them right now. Like I don't have faith in any other team at the moment to be able to beat them in a 5-game series. I just don't. Like not yet. I think 100 Thieves is like kind of close, like they're in the ballpark and they can have that conversation, but Sentinels are by far the best team. They are the on pace to be dynasty type team for the start of Valorant, and put their names in the record books there. But it, yeah, it's crazy. They are just very very good, and I didn't know what it would be like with the addition of tens, like how much better they could get because we all thought Sinatra was so good. but to see how much better they have gotten since they've acquired Tens and thrown him into the lineup, like Sinatra is such an afterthought. Like you kind of forgot he was there for the first half of this team's lifespan.
Yeah, I think going into Berlin, Sentinels is obviously still going to be the favorite. I would be hard pressed because watching some EU over the weekend, and like I said, EU obviously because they have so many people. Let me actually pull it up here. They're not done yet. EU, Brazil, and Oceanic are not done yet, but EU I think finishes up. When do those matches?
On the 22nd.
Okay, so next weekend.
Yeah, we'll know their final four by the 21st.
Okay, so next weekend.
Yeah, they're in the upper quarter or upper semis right now, and
Okay.
then lower round 2 at the moment.
So we'll know from there. But watching EU, man, I just don't see so far like the competition when it comes to specifically Sentinels. Now, I think part of the issue is just that's been the issue for EU all along is the consistency side of it. Like even going to watch the matches, some of these teams that should be running away with matches are struggling. They're very close matches. You know, watching Guild Esports and everything like that. I think what game was I watching with them? Was it the Gambit one? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Guild and Gambit. Like that one there, I felt like Forza should have had it. They had a lot of times where, I felt like they were in it. Now, I tweeted this out, Anuj. I would not have blamed Guild Esports for reporting Gambit in that match for cheating. I have never seen more wall bangs and smoke kills in my life.
Neither lineups.
Bro.
Like Gambit and Counter-Strike.
Like, it was like they were on Ascent. And so, when you're in Ascent and you're in the little mini boat shack on B site, and that's like, that's bangable, you can shoot through it. This dude on Gambit, I forget who it was. It looked like he had wall hacks. He had just the Ghost, the silenced pistol, lines up exactly where he needs to shoot, pops 3 times, and it kills, I think it was their jet player on the other side, on the bomb site. Like, just
dirty.
pop, pop, pop. It's like, what? So, it was incredible.
The one thing that has changed between Iceland and Berlin that I want people to keep an eye on, the metas are very similar now. There is very little difference between the meta that EU is currently running to what NA is running. They're basically using the same agent map pool right now. Like it's not drastically different amongst the top tier teams. And so that advantage where I kind of also felt going into Iceland, like NA was further ahead in the meta. Like it just seemed like they were one step ahead, and EU had to play what they were comfortable with. But I think they believed still at the time, right? Then Iceland happened, and they realized, oh shit, like we need to kind of transition our game to better suit like the play style of these maps and whatnot. So you are going to see a much more similar meta, at least between EU and NA and the top teams, than we did last time. And so that could create a little bit more chaos in terms of just having a more even playing field, right? It's not going to be so much based on, oh, they don't have this character playing, like they're going to be in trouble on this map, So something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because going into Iceland, each region was so confident in their own ability that
exactly.
They just wanted to do their EU was like, no, we know the best, and NA was like, we know, every region felt confident in their own meta.
And then they were all like, even the version 1 at the end was like, wait, Sentinels knows best.
Maybe we should just copy the first place team here. Yes, and as someone in chat reminds me, the Southeast Asia they're actually still in group stages. So we're waiting on their region as well. So, but either way, I think this, just looking at the teams that we've had qualified already, Berlin is shaping up to be just equally, if not better, than Iceland. Just looking, like you said, we have Japan's best team, Korea's best teams, NA's best. Like, unless something catastrophic goes on the EU side, we should be seeing their best come out.
Should be
So,
seeing a majority of their best at the
right.
very least. Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on it and let everyone know what on next episode as far as what we're looking, as far as what we have. But either way, Berlin is September 9th through the 19th, so we are less than a month away, just like 3 weeks out, give or take, from that action. And for a lot of teams that didn't make it on the NA side, like TSM, the way they have to qualify now, because I guess that's one thing is you can have teams, I think, still qualify in the next for champions through points. Is that correct? Yes. So NA still gets one team that can qualify in champs, which is what winning Iceland and Berlin can get you into, right? So the champs is like their worlds if you need to compare it to something. One NA team can still make the qualifiers for that. Now TSM, though, at this point is relying on like other teams to get them there.
What events are they playing in to determine this, though?
I don't know. I saw a tweet, and I think it matters. Let me see here. I don't know. I saw the tweet that broke it down. I should have took a screenshot of it. Either way, like TSM still stands a chance to get into champs. That's difficult to say, but it relies on other teams' results as far as how the points are working out for it.
Yeah, because right now in like the online rankings, they have TSM at like 7. There's still like 3 or 4 teams that have accumulated more points than them.
So we I guess have to wait and see because it's out of their hands, which is crazy to think about how TSM, and I guess, you know what, maybe Anuj, it's time we stop saying this. Maybe as a society, we need to change our thought process on TSM. Like because my brain still is like, oh, it's TSM. It's very disappointing they didn't qualify. It's TSM. They were like the best in the world at one point in time. I feel like that one point in time is long enough to where we can kind of forget it. And this is TSM.
Yeah, like watching them this weekend, I realized pretty early on in this event that I made a mistake in choosing TSM over Envy. It didn't take long for me to at least recognize that, especially when they were playing each other. Like it felt pretty evident that like Envy was the better team here, and so you're right. Like it's just not the same team. This is longer than a slump. When you've had time to release 2 players and play in multiple events since your glory days, like this is kind of who you are at this point. Not to say that they can't get back to the top.
No, of course not. But you came out the
not a
gates hot.
clear-cut second best team anymore. That was ages ago. This is a top 10 team, and that's kind of where they fit right now.
Yeah, no, I think TSM, in retrospect, they came out hot in Valorant, and that was enough to keep them in the top 2, top 3 discussion for a long time. Right now on VLR.gg, they have them sitting at 7th in the world. That, to me, on paper, looks about right.
Yeah, like looking at the teams that they have ahead of them right now, all makes sense to me. XSET is a better team. FaZe is probably a better team. Cloud9 Blue.
I mean, I feel like that could,
like
I feel like
up and down a little bit.
Right, I feel like just on the NA ranking side of it, like once you get out of the top 5, it's like, okay, you could probably switch any of those teams around.
Yeah, because like even Rise and you have V1, like I wouldn't be surprised if those teams, beat TSM. Like they don't seem like big upsets to me in any way.
No. So we'll have to see. I guess if you were just wanting to keep an eye on something on the EU side, Liquid in the lower bracket, that is the one upset warning. If you're an EU fan, especially a UK fan, right? You don't get a lot of time to cheer as a UK fan, so I guess they're labeling them as a UK team, which I guess 3 out of the 4 would make sense. This is your chance. This is your chance. So in the losers bracket for Liquid, after dropping the first round to Na'Vi, and then Na'Vi ended up getting bounced 2 in a row. So that can't look good and can't feel good for Liquid, because I think at first when you lost to Na'Vi, I think a lot of people were saying like, well, you know what? People didn't know what to expect from Na'Vi, so maybe they caught them off guard, and then Na'Vi loses 2 in a row, and you're like, oop, nope, I guess Liquid just blew it. Like,
yeah, unfortunately for Na'Vi, they played against Ascend, and that was bound to knock them down. And then losing in lowers definitely caught a lot of people by
Like
surprise there. But yeah, Liquid
Liquid,
is they don't have an easy matchup. They got Forza coming up, and
Liquid is number 3 in EU. Navi is 25. So hurts,
they're going to
hurts
have
to
a really
miss.
tough. They got to win 3 more games basically
Yeah.
to advance through. And there's a chance that they're playing either
Hurts.
Ascend or Gambit in the next one, and then possibly like a G2 or somebody after that. So it's going to be a tough road for them.
Hurts to miss that one, pal. On a side note, I like Breeze in the rotation. Not a terrible map.
I do too.
Not a terrible
I do
map.
too. No, it plays fine. It's an easy map to watch. I think the big bomb site, I think it's A.
Yeah.
I think that could still use a little bit of work. Like the approach into it doesn't feel great. I kind of wish they would tweak that a little bit, but as a whole, I do like the map, and I think
Right.
I think it's a good map to have in the
The
rotation.
issue with the A bomb site is, what match was it? Oh, I forget which one it was. The team was getting rolled. That's what I forget what match it was, but either way, they had a Viper sitting on A, pretty much stopping any push because her smoke and the wall, it just covers the door, and then it's like, welp.
But do we really want to run out?
All right, guess we're going B. So that's, I guess, my one complaint on the map is that, yeah, A is kind of easy to not necessarily shut down, but at least delay enough to where it's like not worth people's effort to try and take it. But
Watching the Astra combo with really any character feels like the best thing in the world. Astra is so strong. I'm surprised she's not on like everybody's 5-man list, but I didn't
especially when
realize
you're
how
playing coordinated.
overpowerful she was until
I
she got out there.
was
I
about
was
to
like, oh
say,
damn, she's
she's
real
definitely
strong.
one of those where it's like, as a scrub, you're watching it and you're like, damn, she looks so good, I'm gonna play her, and then like it does not translate at all in your pug. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, guys, why aren't you playing off of my vortex or whatever it is that sucks them in, right? Like
Seeing them play it and then now realizing why I don't play it makes a lot of sense. I'm like, oh yeah, there's some things that would have been cool if we were like able to execute that as a team,
right,
but that's
if
not
half
happening.
my team had microphones, this would be really fun. But alas, that's why we watch pros, so we don't have to. Because let me tell you what, after the weekend of Counter-Strike we had a nooch, I almost, after half a week after saying I liked Counter-Strike more than Valorant, I almost rage uninstalled Counter-Strike.
Thank God we ended on a win last night.
God.
It's like without that, it would have been really. I would have been playing like Need for Speed Heat or some nonsense game.
People need to understand, and I think any Counter-Strike or Valorant fan will tell you, especially Counter-Strike fan, it's like the angrier and more shit you talk about Counter-Strike is really just the more you love it. It is really like an abusive relationship. So,
Yeah.
But it was like 4 matches in a row I had because you left to go get food and chill. I played 4 matches in a row. I either had people trolling or people leaving. 4 matches in a row.
And I left to get food because prior to that, we had people trolling and people leaving. This community is absolute dog shit. That's the only problem with
And
the
you're
game.
like, hey, go play Face It. Nope, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. A little bit better.
Little bit. But overall, same community. Different avenue to play it, but it's the same community. Oh well. Speaking of a good community though, Philly Esports, as they sponsor eNews. Philly Esports, check them out, phillyesports.net. They host, at the moment, online events. And I think they're actually going to keep it that way for some time here. So you don't have to be directly in the Philly area to sign up for these. And best part is that they are all completely free signups, and you can still win cash prize pool. So get that for free money prizes. They just did the Call of Duty one, so congratulations to the winners on that. Saturday, August 28th, so that's in like 2 weeks, give or take. They have the second cup for their Rocket League 3v3 event. So again, that's a $2,000 prize pool sponsored by the U.S. Army. Go check it out, phillyesports.net. You grab 2 other your buddies, preferably good ones, and you can compete and win money for a free sign-up. What more can you ask for? So there's that. when we were young, we had to pay to get into tournaments and get bounced the first round. You can do it for free with Philly Esports. So, there's that.
Ain't that the deal?
Right. Nothing sucked more than being in high school and you just got all your buddies to gather like $25 a piece, which was like $1 billion back then, right? You had to ask your parents for $25 just to get bounced the first round by some pro team.
The good old days.
Fun times. All right, so in e-news, we have in CSGO, the Turkish super team has been officially been announced playing under Eternal Fire. Consists of Waxic, which he's Turkish?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Explains the rage. Xantaris, Calix, is it?
Emor and Issa.
Issa.
Issa is the only non-Turkish player. I think he's from Jordan or something, but he's the only non-Turkish. So they're going to talk in English to start off while he gets his Turkish good enough to be able to communicate effectively in game. And this is crazy because Eternal Fire is not an org. It's a player. They started this organization, wanted to do a player-run thing and help grow the scene in Turkey. Big move because like for Xantaris, he asked for a release from Big. And like Big to me is one of the best teams in the world. You know, like they play very good Counter-Strike, and he's making the step away to go do that. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Big was like they're still like top 3, top 5, right?
They're a really good team. I don't know what their rank is, but they're good.
Stepping away. Did it? Xantaris, he was the one who just had the Botex.
Xantaris was the one that had the surgery.
Yeah, the Botex on his hands to stop sweating. Yeah. Okay.
He was getting sweaty hands because he was nervous about telling them about the move.
Well, hopefully all that works out for him. And then do we have some Stewie news?
We do have some Stewie news, and I didn't want to write it in there.
I don't know this. No, I have no idea what's going on. Is he going back to
Stewie
Cloud9?
Was streaming this weekend, and got asked by some viewers to like, hey, can you watch some of the Valorant games that are on? So he turned it on, kind of doing a impromptu watch party type thing. By the end of the night, you could tell he was really enjoying what he was watching. So this is an exact quote we take from his stream. Watch party tomorrow. I'm down to watch it with you guys. I've actually learned a lot from watching, and with all jokes aside, I'm not making the switch, but I will eventually.
That means after this year, after this major,
2022,
he is
after
done.
the major, he will be joining Automatic on T1.
No, he's going Cloud9 all day. They got the spots. They can kick some people off. No, yes, that's huge. Huge.
I mean, it's just, huge in the sense, again, who knows how if he was, like, Stewie's a troll in that way, right?
Of course.
He has fun with this stuff. And so I would hate to see him leave, but just him saying it out loud, it gutted me a little bit because, like, those are the types that we can't lose.
Well, because
right
he was that young kid 5 years ago who, when he was starting off in Cloud9 and nothing, had to convince people to give him a chance, right? I remember talking about that on the show. Because he said, like, give him like 6 months and he'll turn it around, and kind of worked out.
He would be a absolute hoss at Valorant. Like,
him on Jet. Oh my god!
It would be a menace. He would be a menace to society in the game.
Oh my god! And you know what? And he's young enough still.
Jet, like, you just threw that out there, and all these, it just started firing off. I could just feel it happening. I was like,
just went 6 to midnight just thinking about Stewie on Jet. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. You know what, Stewie? I'm gonna offer you your first professional Valorant offer right now. You come play for the Center Ring. You can sponsor Yikes of the Week. Free sponsor Yikes of the Week. Take it or leave it. We'll throw in. Anuj will pay you $100.
I will do that.
And you can come play for us. And hey, you know what? You be the captain. You make the roster. Okay?
You don't even have to make a new liner. We'll use your pre-existing one.
Yeah. You be the captain. All right. You pick out who you want on the team. We won't meddle. You just do your own thing. So
sad to see that. Sad to just read that quote. And
yeah, like, it's happy and sad all at the same time.
Yeah.
In Overwatch, the Dallas Fuel for the first time will not be going to Hawaii as they lost in the qualifiers for the event just this weekend.
I see that as a 200 IQ play. They knew COVID spiking was up. They probably weren't going to be able to leave the hotel. They're like, you know what? Let the Shock have this one.
You know what? After going though twice, like to Hawaii, like back-to-back months, it's probably a real bummer not to go back. Because I bet you those players were getting kind of used, getting the locals, you know, like, hey,
Yeah.
we're back.
Started knowing their favorite little shop around there to go pick up some fresh pineapple from.
We're back, boys. We're back. No, so
well, maybe they're like, you know what? Flight time is kind of high. We're
yeah,
stuck in
for
a
real. San
apartment
Francisco
playing
is like a
video games
2-hour
anyway.
flight, right? So
Yeah.
we're good. We're good. In Valorant news, codename for the new map, Canyon. Does it mean anything about the map? That's the question.
I mean, it gives me visualizations in my head of what I think we'll kind of be looking at. Obviously, I
Yeah.
feel like you're going to be playing in a canyon with some kind of cool setup. I'm kind of excited. And this is why I love Valorant, right? Is like you get shit like this, right? There's new stuff kind of always coming out, new characters, churn and burn, and like just a lot of content. So it gets me excited. Like I'm definitely going to go check that out when that drops.
It is August 15th of the year of our Lord and Savior, and that can only mean one thing, and that's 60% of Call of Duty fans have lost interest in Call of Duty. But don't worry, because on November 5th, you will be gaining interest again as Call of Duty Vanguard will be released.
Yeah, another World War II game. I'm nervous. I tweeted about this. I just, I don't know. World War II just kind of happened for us, not in real life, as you know, but in Call of Duty. Like we just had it a couple years back, and that game was kind of trash a little bit too. And
See,
so,
I think people thought it was trash then, but if you hear a lot of pros talk about it now, they're like, you know what? We treated it too hard. Like we didn't know what we
some
had.
of the newer games are trash that
Right,
they're playing.
right.
So it's like, okay, of all the trash, that trash wasn't as bad. Like I'll run with that. But like it still wasn't a great. You and I played that game a lot because we had all of our friends kind of playing at that point.
Yeah.
In World War II,
When we were still
they had
console
some fun
players.
guns and stuff, but I never really loved that game. Look, going back, this is the important stuff that I've read so far. Anti-cheat will be there at launch. Sounds so stupid to have to say that in 2021, but anti-cheat will be there at launch. They're going to have a ranked playlist at launch. They're using the Modern Warfare engine, which that I'm excited about. And then they talked about like the color scheme and all that for the game, and it's going to go back to more like the bright visual appeal, like think some of the jetpack style games and all
Right.
that, where they were like very appealing,
Which
visually.
is good because for us boomers, these last couple of games have been
Dude,
impossible.
Modern Warfare was so difficult to spot people with the gray tone the whole damn game had, and so like, yeah, I would be more excited for a like more visually appealing.
Nothing
game
makes
as
me
well.
feel like I need to get my eyes checked more than playing a recently released Call of Duty game. But
100%.
we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, look, and I know like even the developer was like, "Hey, we got big things. We're gonna be focusing on the competitive side at launch," and like everyone was like, "Yeah, sure thing, bud. Heard this one. Fool me once, right?" But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it might be the one that gets us back into playing Call of Duty. Which, you know what? Positivity month, positive twist, Anuj. Positive twist, because I'm more of a World War II guy. You're more of a modern guy. Battlefield modern, Call of Duty World War II.
Comes out like a few days after Battlefield comes out.
Well, that's
It
what I'm
comes
saying. We
out
get to whatever our
a
palate,
month after New World. Like we'll be playing so many other
whatever
things.
our
We might-
palate wants to taste that night.
They got to show me something to make me spend money on the game. They got to
true.
show me something that makes it fun, because you don't get MP without buying the game. It's not
Right.
free MP, it's free Warzone, right?
And well, maybe they'll go MP after Halo. Maybe Halo is going to set a trend where it's like, look, we're charging for single player and single player only now. Everything will be free to play.
Yeah, but they know people are going to.
But you know what?
For
I just also remembered that Halo's coming out. I'm not buying this game. What am I talking about? I'm going to have Battlefield, New World, Halo. I'm not playing Call of Duty.
Again, Call of Duty would just have to show me something really special for me to go and grab it.
It's going to have to send me nudes. to get me to play it. That's what it's
It's
going to have to
gonna
show
be something
me.
close enough.
Like, it's
Yeah,
going to
I mean,
have to give me a reach around just to play it, because I'm not going to...
oh, if anybody knows the release schedule, they definitely know what they're going to be competing against. So if they don't bring genuinely a better game than they've brought in the past like 3-4 years, it's going to be tough. Like tough as a sell outside of Warzone.
Yeah. And that's also the funny thing, right? Is he said we're going to be focusing on competitive at the start. Never said what competitive. Like everyone's like in my back.
We're gonna have Twitch rivals Warzone tournaments day one.
We're gonna focus on Warzone events. So we'll see. We'll see. In other FPS news, though, Anuj, this is getting me good. This is gonna be hot and bothered. I didn't think it was possible, but I'm actually excited for a Twitch Rivals event because they are hosting the Halo 2 Classic. 16 Halo 2 legends will square off in a Twitch Rivals starting August 19th, so here in just a couple of days. You're going to have Ninja will be involved, T-Squared, Walshy. Walshy was my homeboy. I actually had his t-shirt that said Walshy is my homeboy back in the day, and I would wear that to high school, and people were like, who the hell is Walshy? I'm like, oh, he like plays Halo professionally? And they were like, okay, you're a virgin. Get away from me. So, but super excited to see these guys getting involved, especially if it's like a actually proper Halo 2 event. I bet you this gets pretty sweaty. I bet you're going to get a lot of Halo 2 classic pros in here that are, I mean, this is going to be like their one time to shine in the last decade.
It's an important time to shine because now, you know, a lot of these guys are also going to be playing or streaming the new Halo when it comes out. So like it would just be good for their brand to do well in this event that will have a lot of eyes on it.
Now, I bet you're going to get some sweaty Halo pros, like veterans that haven't played in a while.
Is Ninja competing or is he just involved with the event?
It says here Ninja will be involved and the captains are. So I think he's just involved.
Okay.
So they couldn't afford the paycheck to get him to play. So they just took the discounts.
Like he'll be like a casting it or something.
Yeah, they're like, can you just like sit here on the desk or something?
They should have Summit involved in casting or something for this type of event.
You know what? You're absolutely right. He won't play because I'm sure this is going to be controllers, so he won't do it, which is understandable. I wouldn't do it either. But Summit has done so much. Like, he supports that Halo he was the one streamer, the non-Halo streamer, that supported the Master Chief Collection more than anyone. Like, he tried so hard to get that to be a success on Twitch and just didn't work out because
even he couldn't do enough for it.
Yeah, even the top streamer partnering and playing with pros couldn't get past the mouse and keyboard issue. So we'll see, but I agree. They should get Summit involved. League of Legends has some teams qualifying for Worlds. I will preface this. Even looking at the Wikipedia page for League, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So we're going to get Kevin on the show coming up here in the next couple of episodes so he can break down Worlds for us since he's our League of Legends guy. But for the LCS, so far you have 100 Thieves and Liquid qualifying. So good on 100 Thieves, right? Qualifying for Berlin, qualifying for Worlds, all in the same weekend. Not bad. Not bad at all. On top of the Gucci deal, like pretty good month. Pretty good month for 100 Thieves. In LEC, you have Mad Lions and Rogue qualifying.
I found a new favorite team for League of Legends for me. I say a favorite team for League of Legends now.
And that is?
Evil Geniuses. I watched this kid, Danny. I watched 30 minutes, and then I saw I only went back and watched it because I saw a highlight that he had made on like a 4v1. One of the most incredible plays I had ever seen, and instantly became a fan of them.
You want to know something funny?
Mm-hmm.
Literally the only League of Legends match I have watched in the last 5 years was that one. And I have no idea. It was just my esports expertness in my body that flows through me said, Tim, you need to just turn it on. And for whatever reason, I opened up Twitch and I was like, oh, League of Legends. Yeah, sure, I'll watch this, when I literally have never watched League of Legends in my life. So, and I saw that play and everyone was freaking out and I was just like, yeah. You know, the GIF of the guy who's sleeping and then he wakes up and starts applauding. That's how I was on my couch.
It's like you were like, wait a minute, oh, this was good.
I was like,
no,
oh,
it was
okay.
I mean, it was
That's
a
impressive.
very impressive play, and I think he's a rookie. They said so that was even more neat for him to do what he did. So I'm rooting for him. Gonna be an EG fan for League. I decided.
There you go. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. So we'll get Kevin on the show here soon to discuss. In other e-news here, we'll run through these kind of quick. And FGC, Evo announced that it will be back in person in Vegas next year, August 5th through the 7th. So pretty much 1 year away to date. Huge. Evo needs to be in person because Evo was online again this year. And although not terrible, and it was also Sony's first time running Evo, so I'll even give them some slack on that one. It wasn't, it had issues scheduling, and it just, talk about how like they had it broken down into each region. So it was cool to see some names that you've never seen before. But if this was like all in one pool, you would never see them ever before. So, but it was still fun. It was still a good Evo this year, but it will be wonderful to see it back in person. The big game though this year was Guilty Gear Strive, as it was just released. Hitachi ended up beating the NA side of things, defeating Sonic Fox. So Sonic Fox took second place. Little controversy here, Anuj, because Sonic Fox pretty much throughout the entire weekend was talking shit about Guilty Gear Strive, saying that he hasn't played it in 3 weeks leading up to Evo, and he just doesn't care about the game, and he's just showing up to play, and if he gets top 8, then the game is just too easy, and not holding back, as Sonic Fox is not really known to do anyways, but getting second place in a game that you're saying you don't care about does not rub FGC in the right way.
Yeah, I mean, you think you would... again, I don't know the game, so I couldn't tell you what issues he has with it, but I do know one thing. Sonic Fox is good at any game he plays.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Take his word of being like, oh, I haven't been practicing, bro. You're the one person in the world that doesn't actually need to practice. So
right. I think you could probably pick up he could probably get top 8 in any fighting game without playing.
Seriously.
Like, you give him 30 minutes to warm up, he could probably figure out enough to get him to top 8. So
like, he could just do combos from another game. They'll probably work in this one.
Down, forward, B. Okay, that does some fireball. Got it. All right, that's all I need to know. Thank you. So either way, Evo's back next year. That's the important part. And in the Pokemon World Championships, the Players' Cup, the 25th of it, literally, only reason I did this is so I can say this guy's name. Santino Tarquinio.
You should have practiced it before you...
What do you mean? Santino Tarquinio.
You said Sartino.
Santino Tarquinio. Santino Tarquinio. I-O.
It's probably right. Probably spot on.
Anyways, he ended up winning. So there you have it.
He did something. He beat a lot of champions. I know that.
Yeah, I guess like defeated like 6 previous champions or something like that. So either way, you got a cool name, so you get highlighted on E-News. That's if you have a cool name, you'll get on E-News. That's the bottom line. Anyways, appreciate it, everyone, for listening. If you're tuning in live or listening on the podcast, love you all the same. We will be back on Wednesday, probably, maybe Thursday. We'll see. Discuss some more esports goodness. We'll see what happens in between now and then. You never know. But until then, you can find us on our Discord, which you can find the link in the description of Twitter at The Center Ring. Also, Patreon link if you're into that. You can support the show. Not mandatory, though, by any means. And that's it. At The Center Ring on Twitter. So send us those big dick plays on Discord. I plan on doing some highlights. I was a single parent all weekend, so I did not have all but 15 minutes to myself during the day, and then at night I just wanted to cry myself to sleep, so did not have time to do them, but I will. So send me more. I love what I see, so send it that on our Discord. But until next time, for Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see ya. Love you. Bye.
Doc,
Boom.
I guess, talked about his PC build in one of his streams like a month ago or something.
Is it crazy?
I mean, he's got like a 10K PC. His processor, I looked it up. It's like $3,500. It's the AMD Threadripper 3990X 64 core.
And he probably has 2 of the computers, right?
Well, this is just the one. This is one build, one computer build.
Okay. Just the
So
one he games
the
on then.
CPU is 3,500. His motherboard is
Because
whatever.
there's
I
no
don't
way
really know
he
anything about it.
streams on one computer.
He doesn't even have 3090s. He has 2 2080 Ti's. 256 gigs of RAM. He has 8 32 gigabyte chips in there. He has 2
Why would you have that much
Samsung
RAM?
Evo 970s. It's the 2 terabytes. It's actually the same thing that you and me probably have. And that's it.
Why would you have that much RAM? So maybe he only does one PC streams. If he's got that much RAM?
You know, if it worked on a one PC stream, like if they could get it to work, which I'm sure they can to get it to work really well, I would do a one PC stream too. Just make life easier.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be too much extra fucking work.
The only thing is I don't know how his setup is. I always assumed he had someone in the room with him pushing the buttons, but maybe not. Maybe he literally does it all. I don't know. I always thought he would almost, because his is like a show, right? I always figured
I'm sure he has people like doing the scenes in the sense of building everything out for him.
Of
I do
course.
think that he clicks everything.
So like he has
though.
like a stream deck and he's pushing the buttons.
Yep, like hey, I'm supposed to be riding on a motorcycle right now, so he hits the thing where he's on the motorcycle. You know,
I figured like
that,
him.
I feel like he does all of that because that would be like another dude sitting in his house with him like 10 hours a day.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
like I was thinking more like a radio show producer, like you have
Mhm.
kind of like your right hand guy to be like, yo, I'm gonna be doing this and the entertaining. If something comes up that's funny and you want to push this to do a little animation, push it, right? Like you're gonna be my comedic guy, and I don't know.
It's kind of the beauty of that stream deck, man, is you can really like
I mean,
if somebody even put beautiful looking icons and makes it super easy for you to do, it would be
Yeah.
relatively easy to probably do your own stuff if somebody
oh yeah.
was willing to set it all up. Imagine if we had somebody come into our house and be like, "Let me set all your shit up." And
Well, we've
your
said that
scenes."
before, where it's like, yeah, if someone comes in and just sets up your stuff and says, look, just push these buttons, then
Mhm.
by all means, like,
Like he
yeah.
probably has a button on his stream deck that pops open everything for his stream, and like he just probably hits go live is the hardest thing he has to do, other than the
Right.
timing. For
And
his
I'm
stuff.
sure he knows how to do everything.
But yeah, he's like big enough to where he has somebody probably
Why?
do all
Yeah,
that
it's
shit.
like, why would you? Because that shit. I mean, it's not like it.
Man, he still pulls crazy viewership on YouTube.
Yeah. Though
I
he
went into a
games
stream
so
the other day
little.
for the first time in a long time, and he had like 25K in there or something.
We're live, but I'm not recording. What?
He had like 25,000 in there the other day.
Really?
It's like
His
daytime
startup
stream
to
on
stream takes so long though.
Yeah.
Like he'll get
He's
in,
like-
and it's like an hour and a
30
half
minutes.
in before he
Yeah.
even like opens up a game. I'm like, Doc,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like I don't have this much time. Hurry.
Like, stop hitting go live when you're not ready. Give me like a 10-minute countdown timer. We're good.
Like God, like people think we ignore our countdown timer. No way.
Could be worse.
Yeah, Doc doesn't even know he has one. But all right, I'm gonna kill the stream so we can get to editing and do all that fun stuff. Everyone in chat, love you. Thank you for stopping by. Joey, if you're in chat, thank you for boosting the Discord server. Appreciate it, my friend.
God bless you, Joey.
And we'll talk to you all next time. See ya. Bye.